Hello, this is Bob Gray Sr. Welcome to Ministry Moments. Lord willing, every Friday, 3 o'clock Central Time. And if you'll go to Ministry Moments YouTube, you can subscribe, and I would suggest you do that. That way you'll just get it automatically every week of the world. 3 o'clock Central Time on Friday, Ministry Moments, and very practical. And some pastors are putting their staff together in a room and forcing them to watch it, the poor things. Uh, but anyway, I want you to get a pen out, a piece of paper, and write some things down. I try to I try to answer questions that come my way from young preachers and or old preachers alike, and I do my best to try to be a help and a blessing. Not always turns out that way, but sometimes it does. So welcome to Ministry Moments. Here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what to do when members leave. What to do when members leave. Nothing hurts anymore than for you to give your time and investment in preaching and counseling and so on to a family, and they're there with you for 10, 15 years, and all of a sudden one day they just walk out. I don't understand why. If you had a problem, and then it seemed like you'd go to the pastor and try to get the problem worked out. Now, don't go in there yelling at him, but go in there and say, look, can we talk about, I know I did. I didn't care. People came in, but don't come in there screaming at me now. But this matter of working things out, it'll help you, and it'll help the pastor, and it'll help the church if you'll do that. It just may be that you're right and he's wrong. And it may be that you're wrong and he's right, but you'll never know unless you sit down and simply go over it. So I want to talk to you about what to do when members leave. We had a lady one time turned in her tithing envelope and on Sunday, and then my secretary said, I think you need to see what she wrote on the bottom there. And I looked at it and said, this will be the last tithe check you ever get from us. To this day, I don't know what happened. I have no idea. You've had bus drivers come in, throw the keys on the desk, walk out, never say a word to you about it. And it's sad when it happens. But so let me give you just some thoughts here, what to do when members leave. Number one, write a letter of appreciation. If they have been with you 5 years, 10 years, whatever, there's been some good times and you've worked together. So I would, rather than letting this thing be a burr under my saddle, I think the best thing to do is to write a letter of appreciation, say, dear brother so-and-so, I sure enjoyed working with you these 5 years or 10 years or whatever. I would write a letter of appreciation. You ought to do that. They did participate. They did give tithes and offerings. They did drive a bus. They did teach Sunday school. And they did come faithfully. Now, whatever happened, happened. You can't go around and revisit those items, and you can't invent a solution after it's too late. But you could sit down and write a letter of appreciation. I would suggest you do that. It'll be a blessing and a help to you and to them. Number two, if you hear of a need, fill it. They've left, they've gone somewhere else, they've joined the church. If you hear of a need that they may have, then you just do the best you can. If it's a financial need, you personally send them some money. If you hear of having a struggle over something, and it's not going to create a dialogue where you try to get them back or talk about them coming back, I would do what I could to meet that need. I think it's very, very important that you do that. All right, what to do when members leave? Number one, write a letter of appreciation. Number two, if you hear of a need, fill it. Number three, leave them alone and let them bond where they go. Leave them alone. Oh, by the way, the Preacher's Delight Conference that's October 26th through the 29th, Jacksonville, Florida, Emmanuel Baptist Church. How dare I go this far and not tell you? Preacher's Delight Conference. It's going to be a dandy. I'll be there. I'll be preaching. Book table will be there, along with a great lineup of preachers. And that's the Preacher's Delight Conference. And in fact, the church will pay, Pastor, for your motel room for you and your wife. If you'll just get a hold of preachersdelight.com, let them know, register, and come. I should have mentioned it first, shouldn't I? All right. Now, what to do when members leave? Number one, write a letter of appreciation for the number, put in there the number of years that they served. Don't get hung up on that one thing they did. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, If you try to hurt the church, you're going to get it. If you try to steal members from us, you're going to get it. But if you just get mad, you want to leave, well, then leave. That's fine. And I'm going to be appreciative for all the time that we've spent together. Number 2, if you hear of a need, fill it. Number 3, leave them alone. Let them bond where they go. It shouldn't, and teach your people that too, because they need to know. Don't take them out to lunch and spend time with them and so on. Let them bond over there where they are. And there's enough young converts where you're at. If you want to bond with somebody, try getting with them. Number 4, teach the need to mark and avoid those that walk disorderly. Well, this is a delicate thing, but when somebody is walking disorderly and they are causing trouble, then teach your members have enough sense to say, I don't think it's wise that we spend time with them. I don't think it's wise that we go out to eat. Let the pastor deal with those that are walking disorderly. Now, if they come up to you and ask you, I don't think this soul winning thing, what you can defend soul winning. You can defend standards. You can defend pastor-led churches. You can defend that, but don't get into a battle over it. To simply make a statement, well, look, God meant for the pastor to lead the church. Well, the deacons, they don't have enough power. Well, they're supposed to take taters to widows. They're supposed to help with the physical while the preacher takes care of the spiritual. You can do that, but don't even, that bad apple. Boy, if somebody gets sour on God, sour on your church, they'll sour you before you know it. Number 1, write a letter of appreciation. Number 2, if you hear of a need, well, I'll do my best to fill it. Number 3, leave them alone and let them bond where they are. Let them go. Let them go. It's like having kids, leave and cleave. Let them go. And number 4, teach the need of your people and yourself, by the way. Mark and avoid those who walk disorderly. That's biblical. That's a principle. If they walk disorderly and you just mark them and avoid that. I don't mean you go around telling everybody. No, in your mind, for your family, you and your family, just say, no, we're not going to run with that couple or that family. Next, do not counsel them after they unless they have their pastor's approval. If all of a sudden, and this has happened, somebody left, and I'm thinking of one family that went to Tyler, Longview. This is about 40 minutes away from Tyler, and they, for some reason, I don't know what it was, they got, and to know me is to love me. But they left and went to a church down there. All of a sudden one day, I remember Wednesday afternoon, the phone rang, I picked it up, and it was this man that had left and gone to this church in Tyler. And he said, we have made a terrible mistake. Can we talk to you? And I said, I'm sorry. I can't talk to you unless you get your pastor's permission. And by the way, they got the pastor's permission, and I did sit down and talk with them. But that was with the pastor's permission to do so. They belong to that church now. He's their man of God now, not me. Not me. Now, I don't mind where I go. I was at a place this past week in Wisconsin, and a gentleman came up and said, my wife and I would like to talk with you. And I said, that's fine if you have the pastor's permission. And I met with the pastor that later and asked him to make sure. And he said, yes, they did talk to me and that you have my permission. That's good. That's fine. That way we can do it with ethics, biblical ethics. All right. What to do when members leave? Write a letter of appreciation. If you hear of a need, do your best to fill it now. Number 3, leave them alone and let them bond over there. Don't call them. Don't text them. Don't do that. You leave them alone. Let them bond with their new pastor and new church. Teach the need to mark and avoid those who walk disorderly. Doesn't mean you hate them. Doesn't mean you're trying to kill them. It just means, mononucleosis does not sit well. You don't catch wellness, you catch mono. So those things, you catch the bad and you got to stay away from it. Okay. Number 5, do not counsel them unless they have given their pastors permission, unless that happens. Next, number 6, realize they are not bad people because they left. Now this is hard to do because we want to make it good and evil, bad and good. But the truth is, because they leave you and they don't like you, does not mean they're bad people. They are not bad people. Most of them are just hung up on one little thing. It doesn't amount to a hill of beans, and they'll have to pay the consequences of it. And now people that have left through the years, it's going to happen. You can't help it. It's going to happen. And now, if they leave me, they're dumb. They ought to just stay there, work through whatever problem they've got. I laughed one day. I told them, when people left in 81 and 82, they went to this church, then they went to this church, then they went to this church, then they went to this church. And I said, you know what they're looking for? Me. God sent me into their life. I did, and God did that. So can I tell you a funny story? You won't tell anybody else's, will you? I'm gonna tell you a funny story. A lady left our church, and I don't know why. And anyway, she stopped at a gas station up on the loop there and Gilmer Road. For some reason, she put her Bible on top of her car, and she drove off down Gilmer Road, and that, paper just flashed my head and fell off and fell on the side of the road. Well, she and her family had left and joined another church outside of Longview. And the pastor called me one day, and he said, Brother Gray, I have found a Bible alongside the highway, and it's got your name in there. And he said, this family has come to our church. I'm going to get the Bible back to her because I'm sure she's looking for it. And I said, but man, would you be offended if I took the outlines out of this Bible and preached them? He said, would you be offended? I said, absolutely not, brother, have at it. I have laughed about that. This family left me, went to this other church. The pastor found her Bible alongside the road, found out my outlines in there, and he got up and preached those to her and her family. I'm sorry, I just thought it was funny. What do you do when members leave? Write a letter of appreciation. If you hear of a need, do your best to fill it. 3, leave them alone and let them bond where they're at. Next, teach the need to mark and avoid those who walk disorderly. Doesn't mean you beat on them or anything like that. Now, if you try to steal one of our members, but you're going to hear from me, because I'll cut your head off. I will. I mean, I'm not literally, but so write a letter of appreciation. If you hear of a need, fill it. Leave them alone. Let them bond where they go. Teach the need to work, mark, and avoid those who hurt the work. And number 5, do not counsel with them after they have gone without pastor's permission. Next, realize they are not bad people because they left. And then last of all, put them on your prayer list and pray for them. We've had some come back, not many. I think when folks become bitter, it's hard for them to turn around and come back and make things right. A lot of pride involved, a lot of ego involved, but that's okay. That's why you've got to win new people. If you win people every week of the world, pastor, have a baptism every week of the world, put the pressure on yourself, then you're going to see God will 52, one of the Sunday, 52 weeks, that's 52 new people. And if you're the pastor, you ought to be looking for adults. That's 52 adults. That's not bad. You take an adult sold out to the bus ministry, they could have a big day of 100. My point being, people are going to leave. And when they do it, it's not the end of the world. Don't think it's the end of the world. And God's going to do something with you if you keep winning souls and stirring those baptismal waters gets God's attention. The first year that I was here, we had our split. My assistant and I averaged 9 baptisms a Sunday for 1 year. We were running scared, but we did it. And then God blessed it. And God took care of it. And God blessed in a mighty way. Okay, well, that's it. Ministry Moments. Make sure that subscribe, Ministry Moments YouTube, and subscribe. You go to solvechurchproblems.com, and you'll find on the homepage, as you go down, you'll find Ministry Moments there. And by the way, solvechurchproblems.com, you'll find ministry ideas, quotes. I write a blog every week pertinent to the things that we're going through. I think that'll help you. And I quote a day, ministry ideas in there, a lot that can help you. God bless you. Thank you for being a part of this Ministry Moments today. And this is it. You got a Saturday coming. Good chance to win souls, get people saved, pick them up and bring them to church. God bless you. Have a great weekend.